Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Liam Douglas here, and in today's video we're doing an unboxing review of the Fujifilm 35mm f1.4 R lens for the Fujifilm X mount cameras. But before we get into all of that, let's go ahead and roll the intro. So as I mentioned before the break, today we're taking a look at the Fujifilm 35mm f1.4 R lens for the X mount camera bodies. So let's go ahead and open the box here. Now this was lent to me along with the XM5 by Daniel from Fujifilm North America. A shout out to Daniel, and I want to thank you. Inside the box we have a little carrying pouch. We do have the instruction manual as well as the warranty cards and stuff like that. So let's get to the bottom part of the box, and here is where we have the actual lens, and we also have a lens hood with a different style front lens cover. So let's go ahead and get this lens out here. Now as you can see, this is a fairly small and compact, fairly lightweight lens. It is a 52mm front filter, so you could use your step-up rings and go from 52 to 82 if you're like me and you buy all your filters in 82mm, so you can use one set with every lens you own. Now, of course, the R designation means it has an aperture ring, which goes from f1.4 up to 16, and it also has the auto aperture mode, so you can fully automate the aperture and control it with the command dial on your camera body. It does have a metal bayonet mount system. Even though most of the lens is plastic, it does have a metal bayonet mount. Now let's go ahead and take off the default front lens cap, and we're going to put this lens hood and cap combination on instead. Let me get it lined up here so I can get this bad boy on here. All right, come on now. We're getting close here. Come on. There we go. All right. So we got that on there, and if we pop the cap off, it gives us a nice square view lens hood. Just for the people like the cool factor of the square lens hoods, myself included. They just look really neat. And this is like a rubberized plastic cover that just slips on over the square lens hood to protect the front element. So as I mentioned, this lens goes from f1.4 to f16. It is an autofocus lens. It does not have any kind of image stabilization. So if you need that, you'd have to rely on the stabilization in your camera body if you have one of the Fujifilm bodies that has IBIS built into it. It is a 44.2 degree angle of view, and the minimum focus distance is 11.02 inches or 28 centimeters, and the maximum magnification is 0.17 times. Now, the optical design of this lens is 8 elements in 6 groups, and it has 7 diaphragm blades for the aperture that create a rounded diaphragm, so you can get more pleasing looking bokeh, if you will. And the lens's total dimensions are 2.56 by 2.16 inches or 65 by 54.9 millimeters, and the lens weighs 6.6 ounces or 187 grams. So again, a fairly small, compact, and lightweight lens. Now, some of the most popular lenses for the Fujifilm X bodies are the 23 f2, the 35 f2, and the 50 f2, and this is just the better lens in that series. It's the 35 1.4 instead, so you get a little bit more light gathering capability with the wider maximum aperture, so it would be better than the f2 model in low light performance, like if you're shooting a wedding indoors in a church, or if you're shooting a concert or something like that. But keep in mind, with it being a 53mm full frame field of view, it's going to be more telephoto than a true 35mm on a full frame camera body would be. So you're definitely going to want to keep that in mind, as it could have impact on how much you can get into your field of view when you're capturing with this lens. But this is a fantastic lens. Fuji makes very high quality lenses that are fast, quiet with their autofocus, really accurate, good tracking in their latest camera bodies and all of that good stuff. And this lens, of course, is no exception. Fuji's been making phenomenal gear for many, many years, and it's one of the many reasons why I switched from Canon to Fujifilm about 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years ago this coming February in 2025. Now, I did take this lens out recently along with the XM5 body that I'm currently borrowing from Fujifilm North America, and I went down to Palace Point in Roxborough, North Carolina to photograph the last Cars and Coffee car show for 2024. There wasn't a large crowd there. There weren't a ton of vehicles there, but I did manage to get some really nice images of some of the antique and vintage cars that were there in the bitter cold this past Saturday. So I'm going to go ahead and share those images with you now, and then we'll come back and wrap up this video. All right, so as you were able to see from the photo slideshow that I included, I was able to get some really beautiful images of the cars at the last Cars and Coffee car show for 2024 at Palace Point in Roxborough, North Carolina. Now, this lens is definitely one that you're going to want to have in your bag. It is a phenomenal lens, very high quality lens. Makes great images, and the price tag isn't super steep at $599. Now, I believe if I remember correctly, you can get the f2 version if you don't need the f1.4 maximum aperture. I believe you can get the f2 version of this lens for, I think it's $399, so a couple $100 cheaper to get the f2 lens. And I believe the f2 lens also has weather sealing, but I'm not going to swear to that. I think it does. I would have to check again. But all in all, this is a fantastic lens. Super small, super compact, lightweight, very fast and accurate autofocus with especially the latest Fujifilm camera bodies. You're not going to be disappointed with the performance that you get from this lens. You're going to get a lot of amazing images and be extremely happy with the results, whether you're shooting with one of the 26 megapixel sensors or one of the newer 40 megapixel APS-C Fujifilm sensors. It's not going to make any difference. This lens can accommodate both very easily. All right, that's going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch this. Please remember to subscribe down below, turn on all notifications, and I will see you in the next video.